She'll just out of the blue. Now make sure you say something now. I need some of that.
What are you using milk for? How you gonna cook shrimp and be making? Ooh, they make me tired. Ooh, they make me tired. Jesus, help, help. She forgot she was supposed to be making shrimp. This ain't right. Something ain't right here.
What's the watering?
That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, because it was old and during February, March of last year.
Yeah, other people.
Smack that carrot in my ear one more time. Yeah, one more smack. One more. I'm gonna slap that hair right on out. Slap it right on out. You don't have to worry about that again.
Hey sweeties, it's your girl Shanice back at it again with another video. Today we will be making spring rolls with shrimp, cucumbers, basil, and carrots. Normally when you go to a restaurant, they serve these with a peanut butter sauce, and I thought we had the ingredients for the sauce, but as you can see from the intro, we did not. So we will be enjoying these with hoisin and soy sauce. This is one of my favorite things to get when we go to a pho restaurant, so I'm excited to try this recipe. As we cook, we will also be talking about how we can look for our signs and wonders, and in the midst of us searching for those, we can ignore God in the process. So without further ado, let's hop into today's video. I want to preface this video with acknowledging that signs and wonders are biblical and that the Lord does speak to his children in miraculous ways, in ways that are supernatural. In this video, though, we will be talking about the downsides of constantly looking for signs, including acknowledging that the enemy may use our searching to try and confuse us. We see an example of this in Exodus 5 when Moses is talking with Pharaoh. He is pleading with him to let the Israelites out of slavery. And it is written in Exodus 5:9-13, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "When Pharaoh says to you, 'Perform a miracle,' then say to Aaron, 'Take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake.' So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did just as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. Pharaoh then summoned wise men and sorcerers, and the Egyptian magicians also did the same things by their secret arts. Each one threw his staff, and it became a snake. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord had said." Here we see that the Pharaoh's wise men, sorcerers, and magicians were able to mimic the signs and wonders of God. This shows us two things. The first is that signs and wonders are not enough for obedience. We know this because despite Aaron's staff swallowing up all the other snakes and the so-called power of the wise men drying up in the face of the power of God, the Pharaoh's heart was still hard. Whether it be the pride of the sense of power that the Pharaoh had over the people, or it may have been the greed of having slaves to work his land, we don't know. But whatever was causing his heart to harden and continue to hold God's people in cruel captivity, we see that the signs and wonders was not enough to soften Pharaoh's heart, to remove the scales from his eyes. I will say there has been times where I personally have asked for a sign or wonder, and yet I still did not believe or doubted or felt confused. Just like how Pharaoh's heart was hardened and nothing changed, some of the signs and wonder that I have came across did not change my actions either. True clarity and action actually comes from knowing and loving God. In John 14:15, it reads, "If you love me, you will obey my commands." I like this verse because it reminds us that God is right here. He is not a hidden God. We don't need signs and wonders to hear from him. He has already given us direction whether we want to believe it or not. We must choose to obey. And like John 14:15 says, we know that our obedience comes from loving the Father. So if you find yourself always looking for a sign or something to confirm if you are walking in the right steps, I understand that a lot of us are trying to do right and please God, but We may need to take a step back and say, am I trusting God? Am I truly loving God in the sense that I am already following the commands he have gave me? And trusting that those commands that he gave me are not empty commands, but daily steps that will lead me into a good life. His voice is not as quiet as we may believe it to be. We make his voice quiet, though, when we put the world and our desires above his voice. Whatever situation that we may be facing, whether it be what job to take or who to marry or what city to move to, we don't need signs and miracles to remember that God tells us not to be involved with crooked practices in our work. We don't need signs and wonders to remember that the Lord tells us to not be unequally yoked with the unbeliever. We don't need signs and wonders to remember that in whatever work we do, we work hard as though we are working for the Lord. I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, I would try to overcomplicate decisions. But I've gotten to a point where I ask myself, am I living according to the word? Would this action be glorifying to God? Would this choice be pleasing to God? Does the Bible confirm that this choice would be considered good? In Joshua 1:9 we read, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." The Lord is with us wherever we go. I truly believe that if we are making choices in an effort to please God and follow his commands, he will bless whatever the situation is. We can shift our thinking from asking God for signs about the future to choosing the next best choice in pursuit of obedience, in pursuit of following God's commands. It is then that you will find that you are walking in the path God has for you. The second thing Exodus showed me is that searching for signs and wonders can lead us into the traps of the enemy. Whether it be by illusion or some satanic power, when Moses turned his staff into a snake and the Nile into blood, we see that the wise men and magicians were able to do the same. And each time that the wise men and magicians were able to do the same, it is said that the Pharaoh's heart was hardened. This reminds me of 2 Timothy 4:3, where it says, "For the time will come when people will not tolerate sound doctrine, but according to their own desires will multiply teachers for themselves because they have an itch to hear what they want to hear." Sometimes when we're searching for a sign or wonder, we're searching for confirmation to do whatever it is we wanted to do in our heart. So instead of going to the word and checking our desires and actions against the word, we will look for signs and wonders to justify our actions. I know for me personally, before I started reading the word more, I would turn anything into a sign. If I seen 3 yellow buses in the parking lot, I would say, oh, this means I am supposed to eat at this restaurant. If me and this boy in class in college wore the same thing 2 days in a row, in my head, I'm like, oh, that might be my husband. Any email from any employer, I would just assume that they were sent from the Lord, not even making sure to see if that job was good or not. And I will be the first to tell you that me searching for signs and wonders all the time only led to confusion, exhaustion, and false hope. See, when you put your trust in things outside of God, it always leads to disappointment. Matthew 12:38-40 reads, "Then some of the Pharisees and teachers of the law said to him, 'Teacher, we want to see a sign from you.' He answered, 'A wicked and adulterous generation asks for signs, but none will be given it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a huge fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.'" As someone who loved to ask for a sign, I one day came across a sermon. I don't remember if I was at church or watched it online, but basically the pastor was talking about how the sign is Jesus. His work on the cross and his earthly ministry is enough for us to trust that the word is true. Whatever the Bible says is true. We can follow him and have peace that whatever we do, as long as we are trying to follow him in his word, we will be good. We have to be okay with not having a blueprint, but just knowing that the Lord is faithful in correcting us and guiding us. We don't have to worry about our future moments. We don't have to worry about the next big thing. All we need to do is take quiet, slow steps with the Lord. He will provide and guide us. That is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I surely enjoyed talking about this topic and eating some spring rolls. They were so good. If you like this video, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next. Stay blessed.